Welcome, Super Souls, to the Moon Magic Tarot channel. Thank you so much for joining me. This is your weekly guidance from Spirit, from your Spirit team. I post these every Sunday, but they are timeless. You can access them in the Timeless Readings playlist at any time if you feel you need that guidance for literally right here and right now and for the next 7 days. Now I'm seeing your cards already. This is going to be reading number 1. Reading number 2 and reading number 3. Okay, we will draw a card for each reading to help to guide you in, and also a rune and a charm. Beautiful. Princess of Purity leaps across. This is the card for reading number 1. Reading number 2, the Snow Shepherdess. And reading number 3, Play with Me. Okay, beautiful, beautiful cards. Right, let's draw some runes and charms as well for those of you that like that little bit of extra guidance. Okay, so Princess of Purity leaps across. You have the rune of Constraint. The Snow Shepherdess, you have the rune of Strength. And Play with Me, you have the rune of Hagalaz. This is the rune of Disruption. I always think that's rather like the Great Awakener. Has the same energy as Uranus in astrology, the Great Awakener. Let's draw some charms as well. Okay, that's way too many coming out all in one go, but let's just see what we... Okay, reading number 1. You have the Lizard. Reading number 2, you have the Cherub, the angel of, I always feel like this is like a little angel of love, firing those arrows. And reading number 3, you have the treble clef, the note, the music note, vibration. Okay, Super Souls, I'm going to leave the video running for just a few moments for those of you that would like a little bit of time just to sit with the cards and the runes and the charms. You can always press the pause button if you want a little bit of extra time, and I will put the timestamps for all of the readings in the information box and the comments for phone users. You may find you're drawn to more than one. Just trust your intuition, follow through, and yeah, trust your intuition. It will never fail you. I always feel it's a really wonderful thing just to sit and be with these and be guided. Tons of love, and see you in just a moment in the readings. Welcome, reading number 1. You have been drawn into this reading by the Princess of Purity leaps across, the Lizard, charm, and the rune of Constraint. Now this is very interesting already. Actually, I will just say a little bit about this connection, this collaboration here, because the rune of Constraint suggests that there is an obstacle around you, or something needs to be attended to. Sometimes it means we have to cross the T's, dot the I's, but either way, patience is required and the need to attend to something. Lizard is about the dream time, literally dreaming in the future. The Princess of Purity leaps across also talks of an obstacle or something being placed in your way, but being placed in your way that you will lightly leap across. And through the crossing of it, you will realize that anything and everything is possible. So there is something to be stepped over, stepped through, stepped beyond, navigated, and an indication that you can perhaps use the dream time to find your way through, but we'll draw more cards before we dive into too much interpretation. But there is some aspect of something to step over. Now, this is a reading that is about your spirit team, spirit speaking to you right here and right now about something that they're wanting you to be aware of, wanting to give you support, and also the next 7 days. So let us draw some oracle cards and see what else we are shown. Oh, this would be way too many. Let us draw, see what archetypal energy is around you. So I am seeing this, interestingly enough, this card too. We're going to take 2 from this pack. One from this. Ooh, there's your card. Okay. Right. Let's have a look and see what we have in these oracle cards, and then we will draw tarot. We have the riddle. And we have the gem. I'm actually going to put these over here for us. I think we can see them both okay. The riddle and the gem. We then have communication, ground yourself, and the card of trust. Okay, so we are already seeing exactly what we're being shown here. Now, you may already know that you have something to solve, something to work through, something to step into, to step over. You need to find a solution or the answer to something, or how best to navigate something, or how best even to say something to somebody. You know, how to have that communication, that conversation. That's the energy of this reading already. The riddle, you've got to work something out. But the gem here is that you actually have the answer. This is really interesting. I think communication is key. Now, this could be communication with yourself in order to find the answer. It could be about how to communicate with someone. But what I'm also seeing, and this is so beautiful here with this card, Princess of Purity leaps across, your spirit and your spirit team are actually all saying to you, look, we're right behind you. You see this card here. It's like you're sitting here, and it's as if there are ascended masters sitting behind you, surrounding you, angels surrounding you, saying, look, just trust, you can do this, you can find the way through this, you'll find the answer, the solution to this situation. It's absolutely available to you. I mean, this card literally says, we have placed an obstacle in your way to demonstrate to you how amazing you are. This obstacle is here because as you leap over it easily and gracefully, you will realize that you can navigate things in a way that you would not have believed possible. So even though there is something to solve, to fix, a solution to find, the answer sits within you. You're actually very capable. That is what these cards are saying to me at the moment, reading number 1. Your spirit team is saying to you, we are surrounding you. You can easily do this. Even if you think you can't, you can find the answer, the solution, you can navigate this quite easily actually. Just trust, the answer sits within you. Let's ask a little bit more about this situation for reading number 1. Let's draw some cards. Now, I think, bear with me, I'm just going to press the pause button because the pack that I'm really drawn to are just slightly out of my reach. Thank you very much. Hopefully that wouldn't have interrupted your viewing at all by pressing the pause button. So we are asking for more information for reading number 1. What is happening this week? What does Spirit need them to know right now? And what is happening with this situation of constraint? Or a solution that needs to be found in some way, shape or form, or the answer to a problem. I'm seeing this, oh, 2 cards here too. Okay, let's have a little look at what we are shown here. So first of all, we have the card of the universe. Let's just, let me place this here. We have the card of the universe. We have the card of the Tower. We have the 8 of Swords. We have the Knight of Wands. We have the Magician. We have the Emperor. We have the 5 of Cups. Now, do we have room? I may have to press the pause again and move these around so we can see all our cards in one go. I want to place these down here too. 6 of Swords and Temperance. Okay, bear with me. There we go, so you can see the cards that we have. Right, you actually, we have the Magician in a really central position here, and the Emperor too. Sitting under trust, the universe. Super Souls, I think that you actually, again, I really do think you are the person who, I think you're going to have to take the lead in something here. You are the person who actually does have the answers, you hold the solutions. There is a situation that will feel maybe restrictive, or a solution has to be found, a problem resolved, or something navigated. Now, this card is very, very clear. It says this card is a request to you to literally ground yourself. Go outdoors, take off your shoes and find somewhere where it is safe to stand barefoot. Imagine roots growing out of your feet, traveling down into the soil beneath you, anchoring you with the nurturing energy of the earth. I feel like something has happened in your world, or something is about to. This is right now and in the next 7 days. I suspect this has already happened. Something's come that is going to bring about a significant change. You know, when just something has to give, or something changes, something happens, a circumstance, an event, but it's quite a big circumstance, and you know, it is quite, you know, it's changing something. It's going to open up the world for you in a big way, but you are needing to navigate circumstances around this transition or this change. Now, what I'm seeing is you're worrying about it. Okay, so this card is really saying to you, please don't worry. This is not as difficult as you think. I think you're concerned that there will be people around involved in this process of fixing something, finding a solution, working out how to navigate. I think you're concerned that there will be some people coming in who are maybe a bit emotionally driven, or that it could get a bit heated. That's what I'm seeing. But you do actually have the key here. I think you are the person who will step up. And interestingly enough, twofold, you may also, I think, find that somebody comes along who's also very grounded, who helps you with this. There may even be a need for a professional involvement in some way. Someone comes along who's really helpful, who will professionally support this process, but I think you play a key role in it. You know, you actually are the person here who has the ability to turn something around within this situation. Reading number 1. Cross the T's, dot the I's, have patience. Do you know, the biggest limitation here, curiously enough, I think is your fear. Is your fear of it going wrong. The 8 of Swords here. Your fear of a conflict, your fear of a crisis. Curiously enough, I think something here is, I mean, we have here Temperance, the card of Temperance. It's almost as if, I want to almost say that blood has to be spilt to bring something back into balance. Now that sounds a bit you know, a bit OTT, you know, in a way. I'm conscious of my language. But it feels like it's one of those situations where something comes to a head or it's revealed. And because it's revealed, it can be laid to rest. It reminds me of a scenario, you know, if you have, it's like if you have an abscess, it kind of needs to burst in order to heal. Something has to be seen, you know. If I'm going to draw more cards and I'm going to ask about your fears and your concerns here and what this is actually showing us. I mean, this is a very current situation for you. It's either happened or it's literally about to happen, but something, yeah, whatever it is, you're concerned about how best to solve it or navigate it. But I do think your fears are potentially bigger than they need to be. Princess of Purity leaps across is beautiful. It sort of says, look, actually, you know, you can do this. You can do it with grace, with ease. And actually, having done it, you will realize that your fears were completely unfounded. I do think you're fearful of conflict here, heightened emotions. And I also do think, you have the capacity to do this, and your spirit team are really validating this. And B, someone is going to come in, maybe a professional person, to come in and assist in some way. Either way, something gets seen, brought to the surface, and because it's seen and brought to the surface, it can actually be laid to rest. Curiously enough, I sort of almost have a slight sense of victory about this reading. You know, maybe there's been somebody who's been incredibly disruptive, because these are fears here. Maybe there has been somebody who's been incredibly disruptive in your world, and now there's a scenario where you're needing to navigate something that connects to them. But this is a kind of an opportunity in a strange way, which is what we have here. Princess of Purity leaps across. We're giving you an opportunity. Spirit are saying to you, you know, you may not really appreciate us in this moment, because actually, to be fair, we don't. When stuff happens, shit hits the fan and all that, we don't really feel very good about it. But actually they're saying, look, this obstacle is being placed in your way because you have every capacity just to step over it. Kind of trust that we're here for you, and you'll get exactly the backup that you need. Ground yourself, remain grounded, be clear in your communication. You know, your fears are bigger than they need to be. We will draw more cards around these fears, because I think in a way they themselves could become part of the constraint. Sometimes if we're fearful, we don't act when we need to, and we don't speak when we need to. Your spirit team are right behind you. They're saying to you, literally, we are behind you. We have your back. You know, this is going to be transformed. Maybe somebody that really has been quite a troublemaker in the past. The Tower sitting above the Five of Cups. A situation or a circumstance that has bothered you before. I mean, it's really going to be seen for what it is. It's going to be opened up. But the purpose of this is that it's laid to rest, and you handle this with grace, purity, kindness, but clarity. The card of Temperance in a traditional pack, and this is a contemporary pack, in a traditional pack, the card of Temperance is a card where we're weighing things up, we're bringing things back into balance. There's a higher guidance in many ways actively involved in this. You know, your higher self takes over. But in a traditional pack, Temperance is based on the energy of the goddess Iris. And Iris was so benevolent. She was compassionate, she was kind, she was very altruistic, she gave to the poor. But my goodness me, she didn't mince her words either. If you crossed her, you knew where you stood. You know, she wouldn't support somebody who was like a taker, or somebody who was accepting somebody and then, you know, portraying it in a bad light afterwards. You know, she was kind but firm. She knew her boundaries. She was just, you know, her compassion. If you think compassion, the word means compassion with passion. It means that it's a bit like if a child throws their toys out of the pram and throws a tantrum because they can't have their sweets. You don't then give them their sweets. You know, the kindest thing is to say, I'm sorry, but no, I'm not going to do that for you. You know, it's not okay for you to behave like this. And if I don't teach you this now, you're going to go into the world, continue throwing your toys out of the pram, and it won't give you a very good life. So I'm going to be kind enough and firm enough to be really clear. So there's something about you drawing the line and being very, very clear. I think we are being given guidance from your team about the fact that you can navigate this with very clear boundaries. Let's ask for more information here about this situation. May we have more information for reading 1 about whoever this is or whatever this situation is. And why is it so fearful? Why is this such a challenge, really, when everything in the reading is saying reading number 1 can handle this, you can do this, you are capable, competent, you can step over this. Okay, so 10 of Swords is your first card. We then have the Moon. We then have the King of Wands. Okay, and then we have the 8 of Pentacles. I'm wondering where best to place these cards here for you, because I want us to perhaps draw some more cards down there in terms of an outcome, perhaps. Let's move these up and put these over here for a moment. Yeah, that's going to be the right space for them. So 10 of Swords, the Moon, the King of Wands, and the 8 of Pentacles. Okay, right, I can see where this is coming from. So the past fears are actually rooted in the fact that I think historically, and this is a thing of the past, you have basically, your success has been envied. There have been people who have been jealous of your competence, your ability to talk, your ability to communicate, your ability to take charge of things, your ability to find solutions, your ability to rise up, actually, a bit like the phoenix in the ashes. You have actually had experiences where people have put you down, I think, to be fair, you know, often through jealousy and envy, but you've risen up regardless of it. You haven't allowed that to consume your life. It's given you the most amazing skills. But I think your fear is rooted in when you step up and you take charge and you navigate, will that create yet another flow of envy, jealousy that targets you negatively? And there is a fear of sort of drowning in these people's conflict and envy. But I think the conflict is theirs. They've never stepped up. That's what I'm seeing. And actually, I think there are situations you walked away from where you just sort of, the best way, and I think you really came to understand the best way is to walk away from people, to, you know, send them love from afar, not to get engaged with them, not to involve yourself with them. So part of this challenge is, I think you probably have to involve yourself with someone that you'd rather not be involved with. And that's part of the deep dive, because you've had experiences of people, maybe somebody who's a bit narcissistic, very envious, very jealous. And to be honest, your way of managing this, and a very good way of doing it, is just a bit like the goddess Iris. It's kind of like, well, sorry, I'm not buying into that. I'll just walk away and lead my own life, and, you know, you crack on. I can't change your world for you. So you've been able to develop your own leadership skills in terms of your own life, and choosing not to involve yourself with people like this. And because of that level of, you know, it's a very lower energetic way of living. King of Wands, stepping up. You've stepped up. You have stepped up and you have manifested and created. You know, you've actually been very successful despite what came your way. And I think the fear is having to be involved with somebody like this again. It's almost like a part of you is, do you know, look, I made a decision not to deal with people who operate like this, and I really don't want to. And yet a situation is arising where you're having to deal with somebody that operates in a way that just doesn't resonate with you. Okay, so that's what we're being shown here of the past situation. Now we're going to draw cards, but everything here is saying, look, you will navigate this with ease. Everything is ground yourself. Don't allow yourself to be emotionally swept along here. You have the capacity to do this, and help will be available to you. Your own leadership qualities, and I do believe there may be help around you coming in. But I feel I want to douse this card actually before we do more, although I expect the next cards will show us. So I want to know, is this reading number one stepping up into their own power and their own leadership? Yes, it is. Okay. Is it also someone coming in to help for some of you? Yes, it is. There will be help available to you absolutely as well. So it's kind of twofold, this card. Yes, it's you stepping up into a position of leadership. I also feel with the Emperor in this image, I mean, this is like a vision quest. You know, he has a wand in one hand, he has a crystal ball in the other with a feather pointing to spirit, asking for guidance. And the card trust. I mean, you will be guided through this. The universe above you as well. It literally says, you know, the universe has your back on this one. You're going to be fine on this. You're going to navigate it with ease, and then after the event, you're going to look back at this and think, I don't know why I ever worried that much about it. You know. Let us ask now to see, maybe we have information about the outcome of this. So we can see where your fears are coming from. We can see the current situation and what you're dealing with in the next 7-day period. But what is happening, and what will the outcome be, please, for reading number one? May we catch a glimpse into the future here for reading number one. Okay. Okay. Super nice. So Page of Wands. Yes. This is going to move forwards. And look at the lizards on this girl's trousers. Just hold that up. I hope you can see that. Literally. This is like entering the dream time and I'm going to say your dreams coming true. Wow, Knight of Wands. Oh, I have a lot to say about this. Wow, very exciting. Page of Wands, Knight of Wands. This is going to happen. It's going to move forwards so much more quickly. The result is going to be better than you could possibly have imagined. Okay, this is so supportive. Knight of Cups. I'm just going to say, you're going to come out of this seriously on top, okay? People will love you. Knight of Cups. People will see you for who you are. I almost feel this is a situation in which ultimately, even though you're having to deal with somebody, it's going to break open. There'll be an opportunity to lay the past to rest through this scenario, curiously enough. And it will be, honestly, I think the outcome will be better than you could possibly have dreamed. What is amazing is it will move forwards quickly. The outcome will be positive and better than you could have imagined. And you're going to be loved at the end of it. It feels like there's a sense of, I said this earlier, of vindication, but it's not negative or egotistical vindication where it's like, where you come out because it's like you've got revenge. It's simply that you're going to be seen for who you are, and whatever the jealousy, envy, that's also going to be seen for what it is. You are coming out of this on top. You will be loved, you will be respected, you will be appreciated. Page, Knight, Page, Knight. There's a progression of energy. You're going to be appreciated. The pages are all about getting something going, and the Knights move it forward significantly and make it real. Yeah, you're going to be loved by the end of this. You're going to be appreciated, revered, seen for who you actually are. Reading number one, this feels like a really beautiful validation, vindication, because it's one of those scenarios where just by being you, ground yourself, don't let those fears override. Just by being you, trust your team have your back, seriously have your back. It's almost like you get to lay to rest and let go of something that has previously almost kind of haunted you. Super Souls, I feel this reading has reached its conclusion. If this is resonating and you'd like to get a notification of any of my readings, I post these weekly guidance readings every single Sunday, but they are timeless. They are in my timeless readings playlist. You can access them at any time, or any other readings that are there as a resource. Those readings answer very specific questions. If you subscribe and hit the little bell icon, you should get notification of anything that I post, whether it's this, whether it's a Manifest with the Moon video that shows you what's happening right here and right now with the moon energy and the influence of the moon, whether it's a spontaneous reading answering a specific question, angel guidance, whatever it is. Yeah, subscribe, hit the little bell icon, they should come into your stream. I will put any and every link available that might be relevant to you or helpful in the information box below, so do scroll through, including the names of the cards that I'm using for anyone that's interested. Super Souls, this outcome is truly going to be better than you could possibly have imagined. And really, you know, really, you're going to look back and think, how did I ever see that as being potentially so difficult? Reading number one, I'm sending you such a big hug. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you all for being a part of this amazing community that we're building here on YouTube. Thank you to those of you who are giving back through the super thanks. It is so appreciated, and I do put a lot of free stuff into the world. Thank you also to those who give ongoing support through Patreon and Super Souls. I will be, if you haven't yet received it, I will be uploading ongoing tutorials for you in Patreon about reading cards and runes, so do check those out as they come into that part. If you're interested in the tutorials about reading cards and runes, you can access them via Patreon, but also through Vimeo as well. But again, I'll just put all the links in the information box for you and the comments for phone users. Super Souls, you're amazing. This is going to be so much better than you could possibly have imagined. Tons of love. Welcome, reading number 2. You have been guided to this reading by the beautiful little cherub, the rune of strength, and the snow shepherdess. This card is very much about something that you thought was going to be impossible is possible. You know, the rune of strength speaks about, you know, the universe has your back, and we have this little cherub, which for me always kind of tends to indicate love. So this may be a relationship reading, it may not. Let's draw some additional cards before we really dive in. We'll draw some oracle cards. See what we are shown. That's your card. And these two actually. Yeah, it's interesting. Reading number 1 had 2 of these cards, really strongly came through, and that's your card here already showing itself to us so beautifully. So we are asking for reading number 2. Yeah, we're asking, what does Spirit wish you to know about right here, right now, and what is happening over the coming week? Let's have a look at your cards. Oh, that's rather awesome. Helpful people. Beautiful. Something you once thought wasn't possible is now possible. You have the card of Kairos and you have the gem. This is very interesting because the gem came out in reading 1 as well. Let's place those down here. This beautiful eye. Let me turn that the other way up. It feels really important that eye is, gosh, it feels all-seeing really here, this eye. And I love that we have gems here. Just have a look here. Gosh, we have these gems in 4 places. I feel like I'm almost being drawn to look at like a medicine wheel. You know, like it's like something really sacred being shown to you, being brought to you. We have these 4 gems. We have this all-seeing eye. It may be that you are literally shown something. In a way, these the pattern here is like the sacred geometry of a sunflower, you know, the inside of a sunflower. There's something very sacred, very a hidden gem. Something is going to be given to you, shown to you, brought to you. Virgo, digest. Right, we are seeing already. Virgo, digest. And I'm going to move those up because I think we're probably going to draw quite a lot of cards for this reading, Super Soul. The bigger picture, sometimes particularly during times of accelerated growth, we feel confused and overwhelmed, unable to see the woods for the trees. This card asks you to stand back and see the bigger picture. Everything is happening just as it should, and you will soon regain clarity. Absolutely, you will. You're going to be given a piece of information or the insight or a little nugget or a gem of something that will allow you to see through something. And I would say with the helpful people card, somebody, it will be a someone that gives it to you. What I'm seeing is the current situation you're in is maybe it's feeling quite hard to see the woods for the trees. That's the energy that's around you immediately. What your team, your spirit team are saying to you is, look, firstly, the universe has your back. You don't have to rush to find the solution, the answer, okay? Digest what's going on around you. The hidden gem, the nuggets, the piece of information, the insight, the awareness is actually coming to you. It's literally, it will be like Cupid's arrow. It will be fired, it will land, and bing, you're there. Let's draw some more cards. Let us draw tarot cards to find out more about this situation, please, for reading number 2. More information may we have for reading number 2 about what is happening right now and how this is going to emerge during the coming week. I'm seeing this card too. Wow. Do you know, Super Souls, I think we're going to take all 4 of those. Wow. Just felt like that was just really important to follow through in some way with this reading. Right, we have the Sun. Excellent. And we have the card of the Lovers. The Lovers is ultimately a card of choice. Obviously, it connects to relationships too sometimes, choices and decisions. Now, this is very interesting because we kind of have different elements coming in here. I'm seeing the wings of a crow here. I feel like we're looking at the sun and the moon. There's a need to make a balanced decision here in some way, shape or form for you. But source energy is with you. The sun is with you. The universe has your back here. Now you will need to take some action, actually, I believe. You will, yeah, there's a different, you're facing a difficult choice here. Or I say you're facing a difficult choice. I'm not going to say it's difficult. I think it's your face. When I say difficult, I think it doesn't necessarily have the gravity. I mean, we'll pull the rest of the cards out first, but I just think it doesn't necessarily mean for me that I'm not seeing the gravity. We haven't got the Justice card yet, although let's have a quick look and see our other cards. Knight of Wands, 7 of Swords, 4 of Discs. We have the Teacher. We have the Princess of Swords. Beautiful. We have the Hanged Man. Super nice. We have the Ace of Cups. We have the 9 of Swords. And we have the Empress. Super nice. Let's move those over so we can really look at this, what we're being shown here, and what your team want to voice to you today about where you're at in the next 7 days. You do have a decision and a choice to make, and I think you're just struggling a little bit with making that choice. And you know, that Virgo energy, Virgos are so amazing at being organized, but actually sometimes when it comes to making a choice, that Virgo influence can mean that maybe you're picking yourself to pieces, you've activated the inner critic, but actually there are people you can talk to about this decision. This is really clear here. This is a decision that you can talk to people about it. It doesn't have to, it's not something you have to do on your own. Sometimes a reading, is really clear, and it will say, this is a choice that you need to make. And if you talk to 10 different people, you'll get 10 different answers. Actually, this is the opposite of that. This is a reading where your team are saying to you, look, go out and talk to people. Get different takes on this. Get different perspectives. The nugget of information you need will be given to you. It's almost like you've got to journey, and it may even be more than one nugget of information. We have the 4 of discs, and we have these 4 crystals here. It's almost like you've got to travel the medicine wheel to look at this from every different perspective. And it's through that different perspective that you will gain the clarity that you need. It's almost as though you need to learn another piece of information about the situation before you can be very clear, and then you can make some clear choices here. You can make those decisions, you can move something along, you can decide what you want to do, what you want to hold on to, what you want to let go of. I mean, let's say for example you were looking at different, I'm going to use some different scenarios. They will be relevant to some and not all, but you'll get the gist of it, I hope. Just apply the principle or the symbolism to your own situation. It's like, let's say you were applying to different universities and you've got various different choices that you can take, and you can't see the woods for the trees. Well, this would be a scenario when you go and do a little bit of research. You'll probably find that there are some, somewhere on social media, you'll probably be able to connect to people who've been in previous tutor groups. You'll be able to have a write-up or arrange to have a meeting with someone who did the course before you. Whatever that life choice, there's going to be, I think the decisions, the debate here, it is just actually all that your team is saying is you need more information in order to digest this, and then the route will become very clear. That's what's really being shown here. The energy, the vitality, the decision. The Snow Shepherdess tells us, you're feeling like this is an impossible choice or a really difficult decision. Do you do this or do you do that? Do you follow that road or do you follow that road? Do you buy this house? Do you buy that house? Do you take on that sort of apartment or that apartment? Do you choose that line of education? Do you go for this job or that job, or whatever it may be? Could even be partnership. If you're dating, you might be talking to 2 really nice people and just, do I follow this one through? Do I follow that one through? Give it some time. Digest the experience. There's no pressure here. That's the biggie as well that we're being shown here, is don't put yourself under pressure. Digest. Talk to people, run it by people, talk to your besties, have a chat with people who've been in that such situation, that scenario. As you will find and be given the nuggets of information you need. And it's quite helpful to talk to more than one person, because going back to what we said, if you talk to 10 different people, you'll get 10 different answers. I'm not suggesting you talk to as many as 10. But what I would say is you need to see the situation from all viewpoints. And when you do see the situation, you will have the nugget of choice that you need to help you to just make that decision. You'll know what to do. There's this sort of sacred geometry, there's something of the timing of this. So rather than feeling like you're spinning in a world of choices, you'll actually be able to really hold a clarity of vision and make a clear, clean choice. You'll know. And it may be that there is, I do feel for some of you, there's some aspect of a move here in some way, shape or form. That's what it feels like. There's a move forwards, a decision to be made. But yeah, it's going to come together. Those choices will become clear. The Hanged Man. And the Hanged Man, if we have a look at this card, we can see, I mean, the Hanged Man, the roots of this card are in Odin, who was hanging upside down in a tree and saw beneath him lots of symbols made up of twigs and bones, and realized that they were signs and symbols that were being shown to him. We have Uranus, we have Neptune, we have Pluto. You know, these are all planets that bring about significant change. Clarity will come to you. Your direction, the one that's right for you. What you're also being shown here, which is really lovely, is that ultimately, view it from all different angles, get other people's perspectives, talk to people who've been in that scenario, and then make the choice that resonates with your heart. Okay, that's what we're being shown here. Make the decision and be really clear. Hold what counts to you. It's like somehow this is an opportunity for you to be really clear about what is right for you. And then to go for it. Nurture it into being. Make that decision. Bring it forth. Birth it into the world. This is the Empress, card of motherhood. This is very lovely. I'm enjoying this reading because the nuggets that you need, the gem, is actually within you. You simply need more information, and then you will make a decision and it will be the right one for you. Now, I feel reading number 2 that I'd like to just draw some more cards for you. Just follow through with a few more cards to ask whether we can be given a little bit, whether we can be given more information about making this choice. So I actually think this is pretty clear, but maybe some information about what the future will look like. What's the outcome? Can your spirit team give you a little bit of an indication of how this is going to pan out? Let's see what we're shown here. 8 of Wands, super good. Go, 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 go. Magic. Oh, I do apologise. My belly was just rumbling then. Page of Wands. Great. Jumping for joy. 5 of Pentacles. 2 of Swords. And the Strength card. This is really interesting. It's very interesting, isn't it? Because what I'm being shown here, your team is saying to you, look, we really, really understand that this is a big decision to make. Okay? It's like whether you take that job, that course, that whatever. It's a big decision to make. Strength, strength. It's going to be the right one. What we're being shown here is you're going to make the right choice for you, and that's really clear. And you honestly, you're going to jump for joy at this. When you get to this point, truly, you'll realise that this strip of cards here is telling us something of what I would call the soul growth that we get in the readings, and this is happening increasingly. Actually, I'm noticing in my readings. We're being given information about the actual situation, and then we're being shown almost like the lesson, the soul growth lesson that sits beneath, you know, why those circumstances almost on a karmic level are happening, or what we're learning at a level of soul. How are we growing? You will realize from this scenario where you haven't known what to do, and there's been anxiety around it, you will realize that you can make choices and decisions with real clarity. part of the learning here. It's going to liberate you from some of the fear of making choices, and it can liberate you from some of that inner criticism, because the outcome is going to be really favorable. It's going to bring you strength. I mean, this is the soul growth. Every time that you've probably in the past, I think you're probably the kind of people who've often struggled with choices and decisions. It may be that you grew up in a world, this feels very much as though we're looking back, catching a glimpse of childhood here, where you weren't in a position as a child to make, you weren't supported to make choices and decisions in a way that allowed you to be fully independent. Sometimes, for some of you, choices and decisions were removed from you and other people just did a takeover bid, you know, or indeed for some of you, people pulled the wool over your eyes. So the decisions you made were made without the full amount of information. People were deceptive around you. For others, you may literally almost have been so overly nurtured, and this can happen sometimes, you know, sometimes grown-ups do the wrong things for the right reasons, sometimes with the best of intent. Grown-ups can be so, they so want to get it right for you that they make those decisions for you, or they push you towards the decision that they think is right for you. And it can be done in the nicest possible way. But actually it blinds you and stops you from being able to feel confident about making your own choices. You know, you can't go out into the world and talk to independent, helpful people, or people who've done it before. It's like all of the guidance is coming from, you know, that perspective, and so of people who wanted the best for you, but were actually looking through their own lens. I mean, this is either way, whatever it has been for you, choices as a little person somehow were kind of difficult, for a variety of reasons that will be unique, and it inhibited you from feeling that you could make a balanced choice and that you could be strong in that decision making. What your team is showing you here is this underlying level of soul growth. This is going to liberate you and teach you that you can actively go out, seek support, advice, guidance from, and you can find that advice and guidance at any time you wish to. And you can, it's like it's helping you to process the inhibitions and the anxiety you've had previously around making choices. That's part of the soul growth learning in this situation. Let's draw just a few more cards for you to find out what's the outcome. Three of Cups, gorgeous. Okay, we have Three of Cups. We'll just take these cards, they've shot out for you. Let's put those there for a moment. Okay, so we have Three of Cups. We have Four of Swords. Lovely. We have the World. Beautiful. Four of Swords, Four of Cups, super. We have the Wheel of Fortune, and we have the Eight of Swords. Yeah, okay. Three of Cups, this is such a card of community, of besties. It's a celebration. You are going to learn from this experience that there are people who are really, really there for you. What's amazing is that you will learn that you can have that level of support, but also take that level of support home to your own nest. Process the information and make choices that are right for you. It's going to be very, very liberating. It's going to stop you from procrastinating, really. I suspect some of you are real procrastinators. This whole scenario is teaching you, and we're seeing a fabulous outcome. I mean, it's life-changing really here, because you have the World, endings and new beginnings. We have the Wheel, your change of fortune. The Eight of Swords is letting go. Letting go of those things that stopped you and inhibited you. This is a life-changing experience that there's something of your independence that's going to come in some way from this choice. It's going to free you up, open the world up for you in a way that will foster your independence whilst holding on to the love and support of people who wish to help you. That wonderful collaboration of being, it's like finding the balance of being supported, being independent, being loved, cared for, being offered advice, but simultaneously being able to grasp your own future, not be held back by procrastination anymore. Your choices here are going to open up significantly. I'm really seeing the world is opening up for you because of this. You're going to leave that aspect of you behind where you simply felt almost disabled or debilitated by choice. That's what's going to happen, and the more you step into these choices, the more liberated you become, and the more the wheel will turn in your favour. Reading number 2, this is a super reading. A little glimpse into the future of opportunities that are opening for you. Yeah, a beautiful reading, really honouring your spirit team for giving so much information, including this level of soul growth, and really saying how much they trust and believe in you, and they know that the anxiety, the procrastination around decision making is is being processed and will become a thing of the past, liberating you from previous almost reflections of yourself that held you back. Super Souls, beautiful reading. It's a great honor to read for you guys because it's such a privilege to be connecting with people who are processing life at this level of soul growth. Really, this is what life is, particularly at this time of accelerated transition. This is what humanity is really undergoing, these massive periods of individual kind of growth, which is leading and contributing to the greater collective. And this is awesome stuff. You are amazing, really amazing. Super Souls, thank you so much for joining me for this reading. If you'd like to get notification of any of my readings as soon as I post them, I post these every Sunday. I also, I post these readings every single Sunday. I also post lots of spontaneous readings. This is a timeless reading too. I will put it into the timeless readings playlist, so you can just access a ton of readings at any time. If you find you need some help or support, they're there. I put a ton of free stuff into the world, so I'll put the links to everything in the information box and the comments below, and you can scroll through and find whatever you need when you need it. Guys, you are amazing. Thank you for joining me. This is a real privilege to be connecting with you, and thank you so much as well to those of you who are giving back through the super thanks, and those who give ongoing support through Patreon for all of the stuff I do. Really wishing to honor you and give you my full appreciation. So thank you all so much. Welcome, reading number 3. You have been guided into this reading by the card Play With Me. You have the treble clef. So there's something about a resonance here, and you have Hagelas, the rune of disruption. It's also, I always feel, has the energy of the Great Awakener, Uranus. So very interesting combination. I'm not going to say any more about that card just yet. I think we'll dive straight into the drawing of some oracle cards first. There is your first, and I see your second too. What are we showing for reading number 3? For right here and right now, guidance from Spirit, right here and right now, along with information about the next 7 days. What's happening in the next week? For reading number 3. Let's have a little look and see. Okay, so you have Thanatos. This is interesting. Look at these hands holding, I don't know if you can see this, but there's like a black, almost like a black orb in the middle here. Let's place that here, and an extraordinary spider's web here. We then have Agape as well. with these candles. This is a pathway being lit. Okay. So there's a web around you. Really interesting. Haggalas sometimes speaks of a need to break free from something. Now, when we break free, it can be an external circumstance, but it can also be an internal thinking pattern as well. Okay, so there's something that is, I always feel like you might be being caught in somebody's web, but the web could also be of your own creation. It's interesting, we have a card, a year from now. Okay, that's an interesting card, given that this is a reading for a week, the week ahead, the week. We have intention. Intention is a focused thought. Prayer is a focused thought. Worry is also a focused thought. Notice the predominant thoughts that you hold in your mind, because these are actually sending a request into the universe. If necessary, consciously make adjustments to your thinking patterns. We then have the card of clarify, solar calm. And we have this treble clef. Okay. There's something about a resonance. Your own energy, the energy of your thoughts. You know, this card is very clear. You know, if we constantly put worries into the world, whatever we're thinking, and indeed whatever we're feeling, we're actually radiating that into the world. It's part of the web that we're creating. This is really interesting. I'm feeling like you have to navigate something. There's been either a breaking free, a letting go, a process to go through. I'm going to draw more cards here actually before I dive further in. May I ask about the circumstances that we're being shown here, and of course the meaning of the card a year from now. What I'm hearing about this card coming through already as I'm bringing these out, and we'll see as well, of course, something has to run its course. That's what this pathway is. You know, it's almost as though there is some aspect of the web of life around you where, basically, yes, something has to run its course. Something is going to have to get processed or created, or it's going to have to emerge or evolve. And you're sort of being asked to, I almost want to say, let go of your concerns about it. You know, you hold your clear intentions about it, but something has to run its course. There's a time span involved. Right, wow, that is too many cards for us, but we are going to take the card that we're being shown, the Knight of Discs. I think that's a really important card because it's a card of harvest. It's an outcome. You know, harvest is an outcome. Whenever we get the harvest card, it shows, you know, if you are going to bring in the harvest, you have to till the soil, you have to sow seeds, you have to then nurture those seeds, weed the garden, prune, do all the things you have to do. Eventually you get to the harvest. Something has to run its course. And what I would say is it's not going to happen overnight. Okay. We have Queen of Cups. We have the Death card. We have the card of the Universe. We have the Emperor. Okay. We have the Six of Discs, I was about to say Nine of Discs, and we have the Tower. Okay, interesting cards, super souls. In fact, actually, I'm just going to put these up here. That's where they need to sit, I think. And then we have room for more here. Right. So reading number 3. There is something in process in your life. And there is an aspect of significant change attached to this. For some of you, it could be, it could be connected to a very big move, a house move, or it's almost like a process of change that's both internal change and external change too. I'm very much reminded, I mean, the death card very rarely means bereavement. It's about transformation. But I am reminded of the process of bereavement. You know, I'm not saying that wouldn't be relevant to some of you, but, you know, and if you are grieving, I'm truly sorry for your loss. And, you know, grieving is a process that takes time. We have to process it. It's life-changing. I am reminded of that process. So something is taking place that has an impact on both your external circumstances and your internal circumstances as well. And rather like the process of bereavement, something, if you're new to my channel, I worked as an accredited counsellor, a psychotherapist for over 28 years, and I have a massive online library that is a resource. It's completely free, it always will be. I'll put a link, I'll let you know about that at the end of the reading, put a link in the information box for you. But the process of bereavement, the way I used to describe it to my clients, was it's kind of like a background program that's running. So for example, I mean, the moment somebody, for example, is diagnosed, or the moment they pass away, it's a bit like if you think of a computer system and suddenly there's an upgrade. Maybe you're moving from like Windows 10 to Windows 11. It's a massive upgrade. And while that new program is reconfiguring itself, it has to go through all the different components. If you can imagine that massive upgrade to the system, because it's changing to something new. And while that's going on, that program is going on, even though some aspects of your computer will still be functional, a lot of things will slow down. Some things will stop working altogether, you know, and you'll be cursing the dreaded update. But the point is that it has to run its course. You can't stop it. You can't, and this is why we have this card here. You can't speed up that reconfiguration process. It doesn't mean the world stops completely. It does mean that there might be things that slow down, and you may need to take some time out and look after your own comfort and your own self-care here. The end result will be good. So something in your world is upgrading. It's been possibly quite disrupting. It may have been something that has suddenly happened, or it may, for some of you, be something where you gradually realized that this situation just isn't resonating with you anymore, and you're now on that pathway of a process of not only moving and changing, but of then realigning with the new changes and the new way of being. It's almost like if you emigrate, for example, if you decided, you know, it's very disrupting, even if it's what you really wanted. You up sticks, and then you've got to like put down roots and establish yourself in a new community. If you move from one area to another, you have to re-establish yourself, and it takes a little while to bed in, literally. My very lovely and very wise mum used to actually say, and well, has said on occasions, you know, when you move, she used to say it takes, even if you really click with people the moment you move into a new place, a new street, new neighbours, it takes a year. She used to say it's like a growing season. It takes a year to really put down roots, to feel like you belong, to feel like you know where you are. Sometimes it can be like this with a job. If we step up, or we move to uni, the first year can feel like our feet barely touch the ground, but all the time in the background We are establishing ourselves amidst those massive changes. We're establishing ourselves in the world in our own right. The universe is opening up for us. There'll be times when we need to rest, recuperate, just chill, in order to clarify, because sometimes it literally does feel like your feet don't hit the ground. All of these kinds of things as examples are coming through here. What your spirit team are saying is that right now the energy around you, there is an energy around you of change. And it's not a small change where you make a decision about what to have for dinner tonight. It's a decision and it's choices. It's not even one choice, it's several choices. You know, when you move, like I said, let's take uni for example, you move to uni, every day you're faced with choices, and it's different because you're now making them on your own. In fact, you are now deciding what you're going to have for dinner rather than, you know, maybe your family providing that for you. Or so that's a silly example perhaps, but you get the gist of it. It's a constant stream now of a background program that is reconfiguring in the background, and you are adjusting constantly in order to get to this space of harvest. There will be a fabulous outcome at the end of this. You will have grown significantly in some way. This period of reconfiguring is actually contributing to you becoming a bigger, better version of you. There's no question of it. What your team is saying is this is around you. Try to approach this ongoing process of reconfiguring with awareness of holding the clarity of your intention in terms of the end goal, and of basically not worrying about it. You know, the connection, the message of this card is so clear, because our thoughts are creating things. You can hinder the journey by worrying excessively. You can hinder the recalibration, or you can aid it by working with it. And by working with it, you're choosing not to worry about every single stepping stone along the way. What we're being shown here is the way will happen, and it will literally be lit up. Solar calm. Look at these stepping stones, the candles, these stepping stones. It will be lit up, but a whole new, the web of life has been activated for you by your current circumstances. That is what your spirit team and guides are saying. Try to be playful and don't get too anxious, and try also not to be so controlled about this that you're out of sorts with the resonance of discovery and adventure. It really is all about reconfiguring here. And it's a big change, because this reconfiguring is about you becoming a bigger, better version of you, a more spiritually aware, a more spiritually and emotionally and psychologically aware and mature is the word I want to use. To become a more mature soul, really. This is what this is all leading to, with great potential for harvest here. I'm going to draw more cards for you, reading number 3. I can see what this is really saying to you. You are in this process of change, and this reconfiguring is happening. Let us ask for more information, even either about the journey perhaps, or also possibly to learn about maybe the outcome of this. What are we seeing as you grow, emerge, and indeed reconfigure your internal systems? Let's use these for now. So 6 of Swords. When we get these cards in, we might just have to, just going to lift these up a little bit for a moment. It's feeling like I want, well, tell you what, I'm going to pause the video just for a moment so that you can see all the cards. Hey Super Souls, that should be working for you and not interrupted your reading too much. So look at this, 6 of Swords. Literally you're being guided through this. The way will be lit up. I love that we have crows with this 6 of Swords pulling the boat. because crows journey between the worlds. They navigate transition for us and with us. They help us to see in the dark, to move from literally from one world to another. This is this kind of transition that is taking place, where you become that bigger, better version of you. We have the Magician. We have the Sun. Fantastic. We have the Knight of Swords, and look at this, would you, just the Emperor sitting under the Emperor. I mean, wow, the outcome of this situation. And then we have the Page of Swords. I'm going to put this card just down here between these two. We'll speak about it in just a minute. But look at this, look at the outcome here. You will be guided. This is what we're seeing in the future. You will be guided. This is bringing about a new beginning. I mean, this Emperor card, really interesting. This Emperor is kind of questing. You know, we've got the wand, the crystal ball, the feather. This Emperor is on the quest to move forwards, to grow, to see, to become. This Emperor has got there. You know, he's won that. He's, you know, checkmate. He's got there. Aries, the symbol of Aries here. This Emperor has arrived. He is that bigger, better version. He is the card of success here. And what we're seeing is you will be navigated through the initial stages of this configuration. It's happening anyway. The crows journey from one world to another. The Magician, this is the card of alchemy, the card of the alchemist. We have the Sun, source energy, new beginnings, vitality, freedom, expression. Knight of Swords, this is a card of movement, of happening. And the outcome is here. This reconfiguration is actually going to bring you a huge amount of personal growth, freedom, liberation, independence, literally leading to resources. So this could be literally the way, you know, ultimately a good income that leads to profound success. If this is a university transition in some way, shape or form, or a job transition, whatever this process is for you, the outcome is extremely successful, where you are in a much more lucrative, powerful, successful, fulfilled position. Your growth, you will grow in leaps and bounds. And the key with the Page of Wands, with Play With Me, it really reinforces this, because the web of life is now being spun around you. The key is not to worry. This process of reconfiguring and change and transformation is happening. The way will be lit for you, and this is actually going to result in you developing it's a real new beginning. It's a space of new creative potential. That is what this is about. This whole process of reconfiguring is literally, it means your system, the upgrade to your system, if we just use that metaphor, means that you will seriously become a bigger, better version of you. You will seriously grow. The world will be very much more available to you after this process of reconfiguration. Stuff that you had previously wanted to manifest, you're going to be able to manifest it because of this process of reconfiguration. The world, you will truly, truly be older, wiser, more strong, more solid. You know, it's to have the Tower, the Emperor and the Emperor. I mean, wow, 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 and wow. This reading is really speaking to you. Your spirit team is saying to you, this change is being initiated now. This reconfiguration is being initiated, and they are giving support, guidance as to how to navigate this without the worry, taking time out to look after yourself, going with the flow. You will reap the harvest. And you will become extremely successful because of this upgrade to the system. So much more will be possible for you. It's kind of like if you had a previously rather outdated system on your computer, let's say, or your laptop or PC or whatever, and lots of programs that you wanted to be able to use never worked because you needed to get the upgrade. The upgrade will actually allow all those programs that you might have wanted to previously access are now going to work fluently. But there is the process of reconfiguration to go through. You will become very, very good at navigating these changes, and things are going to move. Yeah, it crows, journeying between, literally taking you from one world to another. Vitality, movement forwards, growth happening, making it real. This is a beautiful, beautiful outcome. Reading number 3, I feel we have come to the end of your reading this week. This is your guidance from Spirit and your Spirit team for right here and right now and the next 7 days. Interestingly enough for you guys, they really are also showing you the pathway ahead. Now is the time when this is being initiated, it's happening. The upgrade is when you've just had that pop-up that tells you you've turned on your computer, oh by the way, you can't use me today, I'm upgrading. That's the zone, but trust me, soon it will. And there is purpose. A new web is being woven here. Super souls, there is so much potential coming to you, and I'm loving that your Spirit team are very conscious of how turning your computer on and seeing that pop-up might worry you. Whatever's taken place to initiate this configuration process, that it's challenging and anxiety provoking, but it's purposeful. Relax your way into it. Trust that it's going on in the background with purpose. Big on self-care, please, and stay calm. Just clarify step by step, the way will be shown, and the outcome is going to be so amazing for you. It really is. Super souls, if you'd like to get a notification of any of my readings, if you've enjoyed this reading, if you subscribe and press the little bell icon, they should come into your stream. I put a ton of free stuff into the world. I have a big free library. As I said, there's actually I was speaking about the process of bereavement. There are several pages, a couple of pages in that library about the process of bereavement, and lots and lots and lots of videos about emotions, and lots of conversations with people about emotions. So do check that out if it's helpful to you. I will put every link that may be of value to you in the information box and the comments for phone users. Thank you so much to all of you who are a part of this amazing community. It's such an honor to read for you, and thank you to those of you who've been giving back through the super thanks, and also to those of you who support my work and the library as well, the upkeep of that in an ongoing way through Patreon. It's such a privilege to read for you all, so thank you so much, all of you, for being here today, for connecting with these readings, and for being you. You guys are amazing. I mean, there's soul growth in these readings, and I see it in you, and anyone engaging with this kind of stuff is truly on such good pathway. Yeah, it's an honor to connect with you all. Tons and tons and tons of love.